Can you believe it's been 45 years since this horror classic came out? What happens when a miner from years back returns for vengeance among young sweethearts who are gearing up for another Valentine's Day party after, well, being on such a long hiatus? Well, if you get what I'm saying. Easy. You've got this film right here. Prepare yourselves. Here's a new solo re-review of the original My Bloody Valentine. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a solo re-review of the 1981 Canadian slasher flick My Bloody Valentine, released by Paramount, directed by George Milhaka, from a screenplay by John Beard. Of course, you may know a few years back, I did a back-to-back review of this along with its remake. But this time, since the original film celebrating its 45th anniversary this year, I've decided to do a new solo review of it. A solo re-review, that is. Anyway, the film features an ensemble cast that includes Paul Kelman, Lori Hallier, and Neil Affleck. Its story tells about a group of young adults who decide to throw a Valentine's Day party only to incur the vengeful wrath of a maniac in mining gear who begins a killing spree. The film was released in the US on this day, February 11th, 1981, 2 days before it made its premiere or release in Canada. So henceforth, today is the film's 45th anniversary. The film did okay, despite mixed reviews from critics, but has developed a large cult following over the years. This film faced notable censorship, having a total of 9 minutes cut by the MPA. Well, it was the MPAA back in the day, due to the large amount of violence and gore. The co-producer John Dunning, that is, confirmed that the excised footage still existed. Attempts to release it proved difficult as Paramount refused to offer an uncut version. But however, it got released on some forms, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's begin our story. Inside a mine shaft, a female miner takes off her gear in front of another male miner. During the striptease, the male miner notices a heart tattoo on her body. Enraged, he pushes her onto a mining pickaxe, killing her instantly. Mayor Hanniger of Valentine Bluffs, I almost said Valentine, excuse me, a Canadian mining town, reinstates the traditional Valentine's Day dance, which has been suspended for 20 years. The dance is stopped 20 years ago after an accident in which two supervisors left 5 miners in the mines to attend the dance because they forgot to check methane gas levels in the mining tunnels. There was an explosion that caused the mining tunnel to cave in and trap the miners. Harry Warden, the only survivor, resorted to cannibalism to survive and went insane from the ordeal. The next year, he murdered the two supervisors who left their posts the previous year, cut out their hearts, and placed them in Valentine candy boxes, with a note from Harry warning the town never to hold the Valentine's Day dance again, ever again, or he will commit more killings. Yeah, it was really freaky to see the actual human hearts, you know. Anyway, Warden was placed in an insane asylum and the accident was forgotten, so the dance resumed. A group of young residents are excited about the dance. Gretchen, Dave, Hollis, Patty, Sylvia, Howard, Mike, John, Tommy, and Harriet. Sarah, Axel, and the mayor's son TJ are involved in a tense love triangle. Mayor Hanniger and the town's police chief, Jake Newby, receive an anonymous box of Valentine chocolates containing an actual human heart and a note warning that the murders will begin if the dance proceeds. That evening, resident Mabel is murdered by a mind gear killer in a laundromat, or in this case, laundrette, and her heart is removed. The newbie publicly reports that she died of a heart attack to prevent a panic. He contacts the mental institution where Harry was incarcerated, but they have no record of him. Hager and Newbie cancel a dance, but the town's youngsters decide to hold their own party at the mine. A bartender warns them against it, but is killed by the miner while trying to set up a dummy miner to scare the group. At the party, the miner brutally kills Dave. His heart is subsequently found boiling in a pot of hot dogs being prepared in the kitchen. Shortly after, Sylvia is impaled on a shower head by the miner. When the others realize Dave and Sylvia have been murdered, they contact authorities, but several of the partygoers have already decided to enter the mines for fun. TJ and Axel enter the mines to rescue them. Hollis leaves to find Mike and Harriet, who have been impaled by a large drill. He is subsequently shot in the head with a nail gun. The killer arrives, and the horrified Howard flees. Patty, TJ, Axel, and Sarah try to climb to the top with a ladder, but Howard's corpse, tied to a rope, falls from above. Now for the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You've got 5 seconds to stop this video at once. Go to the description box below. Fast forward to the time below as I count down now. If you've seen this movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. While finding their way out, Axel drowns and Patty is killed by the miner. The miner chases TJ and Sarah and a fight ensues. The miner is revealed to be Axel, who faked his demise. A flashback shows that Axel's father was one of the supervisors killed by Harry Warden. As a child, Axel witnessed Harry Warden murdering his father and tearing out his heart, which traumatized him. TJ hits Axel with a rock, resulting in the tunnel collapsing, which traps Axel as Newbie, and the police arrive to rescue TJ and Sarah. Chief Newbie reveals to them that Harry Warden died 5 years earlier. TJ and Sarah hear a rescuer shout that Axel is still alive, and they rush back to the scene. They watch as Axel frees himself from the debris by amputating his trapped arm. He runs deeper into the mine, shouting threats that he and Harry Warden will return and murder everyone in town, and mumbling about Sarah being his Bloody Valentine. It seems to be implied that Axel's words are just words of insanity and blood loss, which it is also implied that he is dying from. The film ends with Axel laughing maniacally as a ballad for Harry Warden plays over the film's credits. End of story. So, what did I think of the original My Bloody Valentine from 1981? Well, I have to say, I've watched it a few times, and I'm going to say it is a classic and what have you. A great film, and it's really, really something. Now, upon its release, it made 5.7 million on its 2.3 million dollar budget, despite getting mixed reviews. Anyway, but though it was considered a failure for Paramount, even though despite they even after they had already had success with Friday the 13th the previous year and soon would follow up with the sequel to that same year, this profit amounted to less than one third of Friday the 13th. Yes. Now, upon its release, the film received numerous reviews criticizing it for its depiction of violence and gore. There were just so many and what have you to mention. But in retrospective, the film sits at 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, where they say the film stumbles through a cinematic coal mine of mechanical scares, bland characters, and a contrived, blood-soaked plot that's as predictable as it is unimaginative. Well, that's understandable, but I disagree. I think this film's pretty good. Metacritic has a score of 46. Well, in a March 2007 issue of Entertainment Weekly, the film was ranked 17 in a list of guilty pleasures, listed among such films as the original Dawn of the Dead and Escape from New York, and called it the most criminally underappreciated of the slasher genre. Quentin Tarantino said it may be his all-time favorite slasher film. In a retrospective assessment, film historian Adam Rockoff wrote that the film was easily one of the best and most polished slasher films. And in another retrospective assessment by scholar Jim Harper in his book Legacy of Blood, a comprehensive guide to slasher movies, he notes that the film distinguishes itself from other slashers by moving outside the typical teen based scenario, instead focusing on a group of young adults in a working class community and relying on a knowable atmosphere dread. Now, the film was significantly censored in North America upon its theatrical release, while I will tell you that the MPAA, as it was at the time, eventually, had to award the movie an R rating. Cuts were requested to every death sequence in the film. Well, producer Dunning said that the film was essentially cut to ribbons in order to achieve that. Even after cutting the film to match the requirement made by the MPAA, it was again returned when an X rating and further cuts were demanded. Well, stills of the trimmed in footage were actually published in Fangoria magazine whilst the film was still in production. Though the sequences were excised from the theatrical version, even today the complete uncut version has not been released. Though the 2009 DVD and Blu-ray release by Lionsgate, which they put out, reinstated 3 minutes of excised footage. Because the standard North American theatrical cut ran for an hour and a half at 90 minutes. In the UK, the film was passed for theatrical release by the BBFC over a month later on March 30th. And that version ran at almost 91 minutes. Well, soon, an uncensored cut remained unavailable to the public for nearly 30 years after its original theatrical release. When Paramount released the film on DVD for the first time in 2002, the studio claimed that the purported missing footage did not exist. But in 2008, when Lionsgate licensed the home video rights to the film, after producing a feature film remake, and in the process acquired a copy with excised footage never before seen in the standard theatrical cut. So in January of the following year, under license from Paramount, Lionsgate released an unrated Region 1 Special Edition DVD and Blu-ray featuring the footage. And that allowed viewers the option to watch the standard R-rated cut as well as an uncensored version. So yes. Anyway, it had been released by Paramount originally at times. It was released by Paramount before Lionsgate acquired the rights, as it was also shown in a double feature with a later Paramount title, and that was April Fool's Day. Now, I may not have the Lionsgate release because years later it was released by Scream Factory on February 11th, 2020, just right almost at the time the pandemic struck. But anyway, I actually happen to have the steelbook of this. I got this like a couple of years ago, and I just finished watching it again. I think it was no, it was 3 years ago. Sorry. I think it was 3 years ago, or maybe it was four. I can't remember. I can't keep track. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, I actually do love this. This is really cool. Here's the back of it. Anyway, of course, it does have this. I have Blu-ray. This has them. This is the theatrical version, and there's the uncut version, which of course has a really cool feel to it. And of course, it includes an introduction by director George Mahaka, which I thought that was pretty cool. I haven't watched all the special features, but still, I'm very happy I got to watch it. And yes, I have been watching the unrated cut. It's much better and more heavy than the theatrical cut. And I've seen the theatrical cut a couple of times or maybe 3 times, but I'm gonna say it's good, but the uncut version's better. You know what I'm saying? Believe me, this is very awesome. I actually do like the closing song we hear. Well, some of the music's pretty good, especially this ballad of Harry Warden. That was really something. Paul Zaza does the score for the film, and it's really something as well. I really like that. And well, the story's pretty good too, so gotta give it credit for that. The direction wasn't too bad. For the cast, we have Paul Kelman as TJ, he was good. Lori Hallier as Sarah, good. Neil Affleck played Axel, and yes, that's Neil Affleck, who I'm pretty sure is related to one of the Afflecks. I could be wrong though, but yeah. Let's see. Cynthia Dale was Patty. Don Franks as Chief Newby, Keith Knight as Hollis, Alf Humphreys as Howard, Terry Waterland as Harriet, Thomas Kovacs as Mike, Helene Udy as Sylvia, Rob Stein as John, Patricia Hamilton as Mabel, Gina Dick as Gretchen, Larry Reynolds as Mayor Hanger, and Jim Murchison as Tommy, and Carl Moret as Dave, Jack Van Ever as Happy, and Peter Cowper as the miner, or should I say Harry Warden. That's all the cast I can give to you. I think that we're all pretty good and what have you. Don't mind what they've said long ago. This is gaining a cult following, and you know something? I'm very glad this has obtained a cult following. I'm actually glad I got this. I bought this off of Amazon, and I got it for a pretty good price and what have you. So you might be able to find this for a good price. If you can't find this on streaming, then I advise you to get this. This is really cool, and this is actually only steelbook I've ever actually owned. But I've got to say, it's really cool and amazing. So with everything said, I love the original My Bloody Valentine. I've seen the remake a few times, and it's pretty good too. But I'll re-review that later on down the road, possibly next time around. When next Valentine's Day comes, next February, well, you get the point, as long as I'm not too tired with other things. But with everything said, it's a good film. Would I recommend the original My Bloody Valentine? I'd say hell yeah, go for it. So, what did you think of the original My Bloody Valentine? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of Waiting to Exhale. Thank you for watching. If you like this, check out my reviews for these other holiday themed slashers. Check out my re-review of the original Black Christmas from 1974, another Canadian slasher. In the upper right-hand corner is my recent re-review of another kind of Christmassy film. Yes, I said even though Christmas was 2 months ago, but I'm gonna go and give it to you anyway. This is done better than my original review. Check out my re-review of the original Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984. Or if you'd like a more recent film, check out my spoiler free review of Thanksgiving from 2023. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.